We have been obviously observing the developments not now but over the past month or two. And developments, of course, have been very dramatic over the last few days. Groundswell movement was initially on the quota issue, but later went on to demand a sort of an end to the government of Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina. I would also look at it as an economic factor, and clearly, of course, as we have always said, opportunists, whether it's the opposition BNT or it's the Jamaat-e-Islami, which is the radical, pro-Pakistan Islamist grouping that is very active on the streets. They have joined the protests and they have actually brought in that violence into the protests. You cannot rule out the involvement of foreign powers who are inimical to Bangladesh's interests and, frankly, to our security interests also.
We are seeing some very dramatic visuals from Bangladesh right now. Prime Minister has reportedly fled the country, and there are also reports that there is a possibility of a military takeover. How do you look at the situation?
Well, we have been obviously observing the developments not now but over the past month or two. And developments, of course, have been very dramatic over the last few days. I think the pressure and the intensity of the public, I would say, level of protests and demonstrations have really forced the hand of the Prime Minister and the government. And I think, as you say, Prime Minister has left the country, and there is obviously going to be a period of martial law under the army. The army chief was supposed to speak to the nation at 2, then 3, now 4:30, I'm told. So at some stage, he will come out and explain what the situation is. Meanwhile, we have seen that a lot of people have been out on the streets. Some of them have also entered Gonabon, which is the residence of the Prime Minister. And essentially, public have I would say, groundswell movement was initially on the quota issue, but later went on to demand a sort of an end to the government of Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina. And at least for the time being, having achieved their ends, the expectation is that the protesters will go back to their homes. The military will have to decide what nature of an interim administration they would have to put into place, and also what could be a possible political settlement to sort of, I would say, to sort out a period of great instability.
Do you think, sir, there is an army hand behind this entire thing, or Ms. Zia is behind this, or some foreign powers are behind this? Because not long ago, Ms. Hasina won the elections, democratically won the elections. So how this sudden surge and how this sudden commotion happened there?
Underlying factors behind the demonstrations. On the face of it, it has been the quota issue that the students have put forward. But there are underlying economic factors. COVID-19 has hit the Bangladesh economy very hard. In addition to that, the Ukraine conflict has resulted in spiking the prices of essential commodities, from fuel to food to fertilizers, and Bangladesh imports all these items. They've had a very, very difficult balance of payments situation. Inflation has gone up, by 17 to 20%. So all of this is essentially now coming to a situation where, people, especially younger people, are expressing their frustration on the streets. And so I would also look at it as an economic factor. And clearly, of course, as we have always said, opportunists, whether it's the opposition BNT or it's the Jamaat-e-Islami, which is the radical, pro-Pakistan Islamist grouping that is very active on the streets. They have joined the protests and they have actually brought in that violence into the protests. You cannot rule out the involvement of foreign powers who are inimical to Bangladesh's interests and, frankly, to our security interests also. So definitely, you cannot rule out the fact that certain interests have been fishing in troubled waters. But I think that the situation itself was possibly a result of several underlying factors inherent within the Bangladesh system.
Mrs. Shringla, you also served as a foreign secretary. Under such circumstances, do you think now, as you said, that we are going to engage through our interlocutors or directly? So, how easy will it be for India now? Because India has backed Sheikh Hasina, and we had a wonderful chemistry between the two democracies. We have seen de-radicalization. We have seen, people, terrorist organizations being called out there and caught and handed over to India. We have seen a massive drop in the smuggling. So, how is now India going to cope with these factors, with the new establishment or the interim arrangement or the army coup, whatever you can say?
So, for us, it's very important to be engaged with Bangladesh. We had a very good relationship with the government of Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina. There's been a huge amount of development, positive developments that have been possible under her government. But at the end of the day, the relationship is based on a people-to-people contact. There's a strong people-to-people connect. We have strong ties across the board in a multifaceted manner in Bangladesh's society. And we will engage any political or any other organization that we need to in the furtherance of our larger interests and those of Bangladesh.